What's happening, everyone? It's Mike from the Hardcover comic here. If you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you know I'm not always on the best of terms with Marvel Comics. Not that I have a problem with them, I'm just never that interested, or I'm rarely very interested in their titles or their characters or their stories. But today I wanted to talk about a ton of issues that I've read for The Incredible Hulk, mostly the Peter David run since it's so long. But I've started my Hulk binge marathon after I got a bunch of custom binds and single issues from someone in the States. So I've been very excited to dive in and just read a chunk of the character, a character that, quite frankly, before getting into this binge, I didn't really care for all that much. The Hulk was always a fine character to me. It looked cool. I had an interesting dynamic with the Jekyll and Hyde thing, but never really clicked for me aside from that. And I'm very excited to talk about why that's changed for me and why I absolutely love the Hulk now. Why I can't wait to keep reading my little binge marathon. I'm very, very excited for it. And why I recommend you check out the Hulk if you're looking for a new character to get into, if you're looking for a long run to get into. We're going to talk about why it's been so awesome so far, what I'm really looking forward to, and what I recommend for others who are also looking to get into a character like the Hulk. We're going to take a look at some of the single issues, talk about the Peter David run quite a bit, and I'll probably be doing another one of these once I'm another 100 or 150 issues in. So without further ado, let's talk about Peter David's Incredible Hulk run and how it's changed my opinion on the character. My Hulk journey began not at the very beginning of Hulk here. So essentially what happened is I got a very huge set of binds from someone in the US who was trying to get a very cool custom thing for themselves. And I wound up with issues 275 all the way through, I don't know, 600 or so, maybe less than that, bound, and then the rest in single issues. So I've read at this point from 275 to 450. It's been a crazy ride, 175 issues, years worth of the Hulk, years and years worth of the Hulk. And I must say I've been so pleasantly surprised, even starting off with the Bill Mantlo stuff near that 275 mark. Still really enjoyable, even though it was, Hulk at his most base form, essentially. And then Peter David took over, and with Peter David, everything changed drastically. I must say, there's so much to say about these Hulk books, but the list of artists that have run through this book is just crazy. Sal Buscema, Todd McFarlane, Gary Frank, Dale Keown, incredible George Perez. I mean, so many very talented artists that did incredible jobs. Liam Sharp as well, amazing work. I've been really surprised by how consistently great the artwork has been. With Peter David taking over the book too, you see so many changes in Hulk that people are very much aware of. The Joe Fixit era when he's a gangbanger in Las Vegas, a very fun era of the Hulk where you get to see this sort of smaller Hulk, a personality and attitude, his own persona, still going back and forth between Bruce Banner and the Hulk, as they both sort of toy with each other and keep fighting over control while they're awake in their own time. Really great era, and really explored a lot of possible timelines and storylines for the Hulk by sort of creating this multiple personality disorder plot line as well that Bruce is going through in his brain. Really incredible stuff. The stories are great. The art is fantastic for the most part. Seeing the Hulk in Las Vegas as a bouncer, as the top security for one of the casino owners is incredible. The situations he gets into are really absurd. That's one thing I do like about Peter David's run, is that he has a really good balance between the heavy, darker themes of the book and sort of comedy. It's not sort of peppered all over the place. It's really well balanced, where you have these moments that are very serious and at times emotional. Particularly with some of the side characters in the book. That's what's great about it too, is you get awesome characters like Rick Jones constantly being around, being his fantastic self. He starts dealing with relationships. Hulk starts having relationships and dealing with, balancing Betty and his Joe Fixit persona, who has a completely different, love interest. Very interesting stuff. You can see from the books as I'm flipping through them, they are made from the single issues. There are some very expensive issues in these books. I'm sure a lot of people will be upset, but I didn't do this to them. I just bought it from someone who did. And I probably would have done the same thing. It's really cool to also read the original issues because they've aged a little bit at this point. Maybe cool isn't the right word. It's an experience to do it. The colors are definitely very different. I do like it. I like the feel of the paper. And it feels like an authentic experience. Like I'm doing a little bit of time traveling with the ads in between as well. Sort of, taking me back to, this was even before my time, but what can you do? It's reminding me of the past, which is great. It's a nice way to dive back into, I feel like reading it this way, especially seeing the ads, and Peter David touches on a lot of themes for social events that were happening at the time in the States, and the Hulk sort of deals with that, or epidemics like AIDS. So you get a really nice lens of not only a good story, but you also get to travel back in time a bit and sort of put yourself in the mindset of, Americans at that time. Deals with concepts like abortion as well. Really powerful stuff, and really interestingly done with a character like the Hulk, where at times the Hulk is not. He's not the protagonist of the story. He's not the main character you're looking out for in a story. So it's really well done, and all that to say that the paper also kind of adds to that effect. Highly recommended this. I'm honestly amazed at how much I've enjoyed my experience reading the Hulk. To me, he was always a character that, while he was cool, he was obviously very powerful. I couldn't imagine too many interesting plots with a character like him, and that's just because my imagination was terrible, and I'm probably not a good writer, but because clearly there are stupendous stories that can be told about the Hulk, ones that really deal with psychological issues, mental health. They deal with various events happening in the world, balancing right and wrong between people's moralities, what sort of action is appropriate to take, is brute force always the right answer, things like that. It's really great, and you get to see that through various characters, or you get to see characters like Doc Samson show up and try and help out Bruce with his issues, and he has his own theories on why the Hulk is the way he is and why Bruce is the way he is. Sort of seeing the childhood of Bruce Banner, what he's gone through, how that's all symbolized through the Hulk and through his, anger and frustration and lack of control over it. So there's really a lot going on in this, that a lot of character exploration, a ton of character development, which was one of my favorite things. And then you get a few issues peppered in there where you just get a good old superhero brawl, where it's just the Hulk and his strength, regardless of what form he's in, fighting someone like the Abomination, who's trying to protect his tribe of homeless people down in the sewers. Or you'll get to see, you get introduced to the Pantheon at one point during Peter David's run, and with the Pantheon you get a whole new cast of characters that sort of becomes a supporting cast for the Hulk. It does have its moments where it feels a bit like a sitcom, or like a show from the 80s, but it's very enjoyable. These various eras of Hulk are so fascinating to me. I really had no idea how much was happening in the Hulk title, how they were sort of experimenting with what the character means to the Marvel Universe, what his place is within the Marvel Universe. It's really something else. It makes me upset that we have the Hulk that we have in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this sort of relatively bland and mostly comedic character that quite frankly just gets beat up by everyone at this point, and it's kind of useless. But in this fantastic book, you get to experience it, and of course with the Hulk, you always, amazing artwork, just incredible. With the Hulk, you also get to deal with you have to deal with everyone else in the Marvel universe being after him, right? That's always a problem. Even when he's trying to be a mobster down in Las Vegas, there's always some superhero or some superpowered individual that finds their way to the Hulk and to cause him some grief. It's one other thing that I really liked about this is just how much, it's all Peter David all the time. So that consistency throughout, I think was really really well handled. It's a long time to be on Hulk. I think he was on Hulk for like 10 years or something, a really long time. And the fact that he consistently makes such incredible stories, um, amazing moments between characters is really impressive, and it also just makes for a cohesive story. He can just keep telling the story that he wants to tell, until he's basically out of stories to tell, and it really 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 shows in the title. I did also, while reading this marathon, read some of the tie-in issues, Future Imperfect, annuals. I think there was like a time period where the title crossed over with X Factor, so those were in there. X Factor also written by Peter David at the time, so those are in there. It's great to see so many interactions with the Hulk. It's so great to see Rick Jones become such a fantastic character. He's become one of my favorite sort of non-superhero characters in the Marvel universe. I'm really curious to see what else he's been up to, and it's surprising for me because I truly, my opinion on Marvel had been very apathetic lately, and it's been nice to have a character like the Hulk bring me back to it. So I really highly recommend it. That's all I can say. I highly recommend checking out as much of the Hulk as you can. I recommend the Peter David run at the very least. There are omnis being released for it now, and can't imagine a better place to start. Really, I mean, that's essentially where I started, aside from that Bill Mantlo stuff, and I think someone else followed up after Bill Mantlo. But either way, the Peter David run, start there. You'll highly highly enjoy it. I'll let you know how the Bruce Jones stuff is. I'll let everyone know what the other runs are like. I'm very excited to get into the Greg Pak stuff eventually. Got those omnis sitting here as well. Those didn't come in as custom binds; they came in as omnis. But what can you do? Very excited for that. And then, of course, moving into some of the Jason Aaron stuff later in the future. That's so far away, though. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Have you read any of the Hulk? What are some of your favorite stories from any run of the Hulk? Let us know down in the comment section below. I'm very excited to continue my Hulk marathon. I will definitely be doing another check-in, probably once I'm done the Peter David run, just to sort of talk about how it all wrapped up. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Until next time, as always, you stay classy, Internet.